We're hot.
Okay.
We're hot. All right, what's up, guys? I am Francis. I am the general manager of Cole Ironworks, and we're going to relaunch this series, the Cole podcast, the Colecast. The Colecast. We're going to relaunch it, and we're going to kind of jump between topics and interview some cool people, and it just so happens we have some cool people here in the shop. So today we're going to start out with Nathan and David, who are two very long time members of the Cole team, mostly because Nathan helped found it, and David
lurked.
David lurked. And we're going to get kind of into the history of Cole Ironworks. Wow. So straight off the bat, I noticed a couple things. Well, first of all, guys, thank you so much for joining us. That intro was from our very first episode from the relaunch of the Colecast. The original Colecast was, I think, maybe 10 episodes of Nathan in his Ford Ranger, just recording straight into his iPhone and posting it. A couple years, probably 4 or 5 years before we relaunched. And then when we relaunched, we started with episode 1. We are now on our 100th episode, and this is going to be a big celebration of the community, of what you guys have allowed us to do. This is going to be a big celebration of everybody that has come and worked at Cole Ironworks and what they've done to influence, whether it be our productivity or our culture or whatever it have you be. We're going to talk about a lot of things. Just to mention, though, from watching the intro to episode 1, I noticed a couple things. First of all, sound quality. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's you have gotten better at mixing or if we got a different software, or if maybe I just learned how to talk onto a mic.
So it's a little bit of all of that.
Okay.
There's a lot going on.
That sound quality was...
It was rough.
A little rough.
Still not great.
Sounded squashed.
It's gotten better.
It's gotten better. Number 2. Why did I try to be so dang professional?
Because you didn't want to do it.
Well, that's true. That day I was not as mad. It was the following weeks where I kept having to do it again, that I got increased before I just finally gave up and said, okay, I guess I'm doing this. Yeah. And then number 3, the thing that I noticed off the bat is, holy crap, my glasses.
Mm-hmm.
I knew they were a little crooked.
They were bad.
Did not know they were that bad.
Bad.
So the reason I bought 2 sets of the same glasses, one was sunglasses and the other was regular glasses, and I broke the first pair. I can't remember how. And then the second pair, when I moved to Chicago, I had a few friends stay the night with me, and one of them stepped on my glasses when they were trying to be really quiet, sneaking out of the house because I was asleep on the floor. And I slept on the floor, and then like 3 friends slept in the bedroom, and like three friends slept on the blow up mattress, and then I slept on the couch. But anyway, holy crap, those are crooked. Look how far we've come. Glasses, straight. Sound quality, better. Tone, willingness to engage, through the roof.
Oh, yes.
So those are my takeaways. Once again, guys, I want to thank you so much for joining us. This is going to be a little bit of a long one because we're celebrating. This is 100 episodes. So we've done hit or miss an episode. I'd say we average about every other week. We did kind of a long pause between season 2 and 3, like really long pause, actually.
Yeah.
But getting to 100 in just a couple years is pretty good, and we wouldn't do that if you guys didn't support it. So thank you very much for that. Also, side tangent, I don't have this written down. I'm trying to stay on topic today, but I have been going back and listening to podcasts that I listen to now. I've tried to go back and listen to their original few podcasts, and holy crap, some of them are god-awful. Thank the Lord that I did not start listening to them when they launched, because I would not like them. If you go back and listen to Unsub, it's hard. It's hard to listen to. They are still the same people, but they just didn't they didn't have their rhythm together yet. And there was another guy on there who I don't want to knock him in any way, but I just feel like he brought less to the podcast. The podcast Unsub in general, to me, I really like when they have like the veterans on or like the really well-informed people on. When it's just the group of guys together, it can get a little, I don't know, racy, dicey. That's just not my kind of humor. So, the gross, inappropriate humor is not for me. So I really like that they kind of found that avenue of getting old World War II veterans on and stuff like that. But their early ones are pretty rough. And there's a couple other ones that I'm not just going to sit here and call out. But I think we started out in a pretty healthy place, and we might not have progressed to the production level of some of those guys. But I'm really proud of what we've been able to do. At AACB, while I was gone, I had 2 people approach me and say, "Hey, Francis, I listened to the podcast. I know I'm supposed to tell you." And it is really cool to see that we actually, the dumb things that come out of my mouth matter to people. So thank you guys. Thank you much for listening. So what are we doing in today's episode? I said 2 weeks ago that we would be, we'd be doing the biggest podcast giveaway we've ever done. And I decided that wasn't good enough. So I'm going to do a normal giveaway. I'm going to do the biggest podcast giveaway that we've ever done.
2 giveaways?
And then I'm going to give away another thing that will yet again be the biggest thing. So there will be a moment in time where for 30 to 45 minutes, something will be the biggest giveaway and then be outshined. So, and I have not cleared this with anyone. So if I'm not here next week, you know that it's because I got in trouble for this.
Good.
I wanted to start out with one of the giveaways, which is a pretty normal giveaway with us. We're going to give away a couple t-shirts. And excuse me, I got the hiccups as soon as, I'm going to open a drink every time we do a giveaway. Right. I need the hydration because it's a long episode and just, it's fun. So the very first giveaway that we're doing, we have some new merch at the behest of you guys that is specifically aimed at the Colecast. Evan, do we have pictures to put up?
We sure do.
So the first one is going to be the retro shirt, or the Anywho Colecast shirt. We changed the name since I wrote my script. This goes back to what you guys are saying with me not knowing what we're talking about and changing the subject, saying anywho. So I think this one's really funny. I really like it. It also leans into a new color palette that if you're signed up for our emails, you'll be familiar with. I really like this color palette, and it works in kind of like the orange and the yellow that we've traditionally gone with are nice, but we've almost made it too clean and crisp. And I like the little bit of a shade down, and then including that blue and red really brings me back visually to like the 40s through the early 70s, that kind of bubbly when they were trying to look futuristic before people tried to make their logos look retro. It reminds me of the Fair Cute logo that we had on the side of the punch press, where it was like, dude, they did that logo in the 1920s. That's super cool. Kind of bubbly. So I really, really like this one. The second one is going to be the Freedom shirt, or what did we rename it? The Colecast Pocket Tee. Colecast Pocket Tee. So I like this one as well too. It's kind of got that, even without the Colecast, I think, well, no, that's a common thought. I was going to say you could almost see that in a Walmart and be like, oh, I wonder if he listens to the podcast. But no, that's just you would think that guy just loves America, which we do. Okay. Which we do. So you might be asking yourself, Francis, you got 2 new t-shirts. You want to give them away. You want to give them to people. You want to get them on the streets, right? Who are you going to give them to? You going to give them to old Alexandria Ortega-Cortez, old AOC going to the Met Gala? Are you going to give them to influencers to wear while they're opening beauty products and toys? I don't know what influencers do anymore. That's all that comes through my feed is like women talking about foundation and 7-year-olds opening toys with their kids. My girlfriend and my nieces and nephews have ruined my algorithm by sending me stuff. But makes Christmas very easy because I know exactly what they want. They've sent it to me 1,000 times. But no, I'm not doing that. I'm sending these to my everyday customers. I almost called them my faithful, but that sounds a little bit
getting a little culty.
Yeah, that's cult vibes for sure. All right, so we're gonna send them. We're gonna send them to you guys, and here's how we're gonna do it, guys. For the Freedom shirt, pull up the Freedom shirt.
Mm-hmm.
For this one, we want to celebrate blacksmithing in America. We want to celebrate everything that blacksmithing has meant to America, not just when you look at it from an architectural standpoint, from an art standpoint, not from a jobs created standpoint, but to the spirit of America and to the endurance and to the idea that hard work matters and that if you work hard, you can live the American dream. I don't want to start anything political, so please avoid this in your post. But what I want you guys to do is I want you to post what makes blacksmithing in America so important. Why was it important when we came here in the 1600s and started to establish this nation, all the way up into why is it important to keep it breathing now? That is the contest. So you're going to make a post. You're going to tag us in the post, not in the comments. I'm going to say this again. You're going to tag us in the post, not in the comments. Give us a history lesson. Give us a personal sentiment. Give us an emotion-fueled rant taking us through your mind on why blacksmithing matters to you and why it is so important for America to uphold and to keep the spirit of blacksmithing, the art of blacksmithing, the craft of blacksmithing, whatever it is, however you want to verbalize it. This shirt specifically is to celebrate blacksmithing in America. So we want to hear from you on why that's important. Number 2, go ahead and pull up the retro shirt. This one's going to be a lot easier, guys. You're gross. All of you are disgusting. I say that, Evan. Yeah. No, you can't do that from over there. Never mind. I was going to say, Evan, if you want to zoom into my shirt, you all look like me. That's how I know that you're gross. We're going to zoom in, okay? People, blacksmiths, we need new clothes, and we don't do it. Normal hands, yeah. Oh, okay, sure. Boyd, shout out Boyd. That's my boy. We ignore it. We buy other stuff. If you're in any other profession, it feels like your manager might come and pull you and say, "Hey, man, you can't wear a shirt with paint on it, or with hydraulic oil stains on it, or with coal ash on it, or." And we just keep wearing it, not until it's washed, but until it rots off our bodies. I say that as I'm wearing a 5-year-old shirt, 5 or 6-year-old shirt. This shirt is older than my employment at Cole. So what I want you guys to do, and have fun with this, I want you to tag us in a picture of your grossest attire. Why do you need a new shirt? Show me and prove to me that you need a new shirt. That's it. That's the first giveaway. It's 2 shirts to two happy fellers. Okay. So next up, you might ask yourself, hey, Francis, we constantly get to hear you asking questions to people and interviewing people, but we don't really ever get to hear people asking questions to you. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some time on the sales floor today. Well, it's not a sales floor. It's a production floor. I don't know why I said sales floor. We're going to take some time on the production floor today, and I am going to ask our employees a question and then give them a chance to ask me a question. These questions do not have to be blacksmithing related. A couple of the guys, I know I'm going to ask them blacksmithing questions. A couple of the guys are going to get silly questions, and I'm sure I'm going to get absolutely ridiculous questions because we are not giving them a forewarning that this is going to happen. So, Evan, you ready to cut away to that? All right. All right. So Ryan, if you had one thing that everybody had to do as soon as they graduate high school, like a lot of people say, you should be in the military or you should work customer service for 2 years. If everybody had to do one thing after they graduate high school, what would it be?
Get a job.
Simple. I like it. Just get a job. Chris, you get to see one band live, but you have to change their lead singer out for someone else. So my example would be like Michael Jackson singing for the Beatles. Like the Beatles are playing their instruments, but Michael Jackson's singing. Or Michael Jackson, lead singer for Queen. So you get to see one band, change the lead singer. Who is it?
I'm going to see Rush and put in Freddie Mercury.
Rush is terrible. I want to go on record.
No.
Rush is literally one of the worst bands to ever exist. Neil Peart stays on beat and people lose their minds and talk about how he's a mathematical genius. Bad. Terrible.
These are all worthless interviews now.
I had questions more, but you're not getting them now.
Fine.
What has blacksmithing meant to you over the past couple years?
It's been just a way to get stress out and a way to have fun with good friends and just have fun, I guess.
What's been your favorite part of blacksmithing?
Meeting all new people and seeing how they just encourage you to do better and not harp on you, I guess.
It's not true. There's a lot of harping that goes on in blacksmithing. What's a dream project that you have in mind, but you've never had either the time or the tools or scenario where you could get it done? Just a dream project that would be the crest of your career.
Crest of my career? I don't know about that. I've always wanted to do a crossbow, like do it all out of Damascus and African Blackwood and stuff. Make it super fancy.
That's a pretty sick answer.
So yeah, it'd be pretty cool.
It's a pretty good answer. Sam, I've got two questions for you. One, if you're going into battle and you have to pick, you're the general, and your troops have to wear either polka dots or stripes, which one do you pick?
Stripes.
Wrong. Okay, question number two. What got you into welding? Why do you like working here?
I started welding in high school. Last 2 years of my high school, I went to a career center, and after I graduated high school, I figured, it's what I've been doing the last 2 years. It's straight into work, and I figured I'd go to a trade school for it, and so I did. And over the years, I've just kept enjoying doing it. It's something I'm good at, so yeah. I started at BoFab and then came over here, and this has been one of the greatest places I've worked at. The people are great to work with. The work's fun. It's a good time.
I paid him to say that. What French mathematician came up with the theory of how we come up with hydraulic power in modern times? He's the father of the equation for hydraulic output. I guess it's fair. I had to use a computer. He can use a computer.
Well, I was just going back to work.
Oh, okay. That works too. All right, Corbin. What's a pinnacle project that after you get it done, you could be happy, career, established, done? This is going to be the pinnacle of your career. What project and what does that look like to you?
Like blacksmithing wise or anything? Like if I get it done, I'm done forever. I don't need to do anything else.
Well, not that obviously you'll have to like work and stuff, but like, what is a project that you're like, okay, if I can achieve this, I'll be proud of myself?
Like a giant railing in like a giant hotel. That's super intricate. Ornamental. Very
Sick. All right. Yeah. I wish you would. What's a common mistake that you make in the forge that if you could, you would eliminate it from your habits?
clutter.
I think we can all agree with that. I'm sure that was a great segment. So moving on, you see the interviews and the interactions that we have with the floor, and it's probably, honestly, we haven't done it yet, guys. That's why that joke was funny. We haven't done it yet. We're going to do it later today, but we have these interactions all day where you never know if you're going to walk into a cell and Greg's going to ask me like, hey, what kind of Loctite did you guys use before you switched to this one because this one's getting discontinued? Or what kind of tool did you get to use in there because I use this, but it's not really working, whatever. Or
we just talked about monster trucks for 10 minutes.
Exactly. Or if somebody's going to go, I literally said, I don't know if Monster Jam is the same as WWE where it's all scripted and or do they have a call up league like the NHL and the MLB or like you can
all a scam.
You're a AAA driver and then all of a sudden they do an expansion and you sign a truck. So we talked about Monster Jam for like 10 minutes. So, wow.
Yep.
Brain fart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you guys got to see the interaction there, and that's probably going to end up being genuinely what it's like on our shop floor. But what I want to do next is I want to go back and whether I was part of the interview or not, I am going to blind react, because here's the thing. When podcasts come out, the first day that it's out, I will either sit through the premiere or I will listen to it on my drive home, and then as I'm doing dishes or whatever, and I don't actually listen to the content very often. What I listen to specifically is, did I swear? I've sometimes tend to have a filthy mouth. Did I make an inappropriate joke that I don't want on the podcast? Our goal is for you guys to be able to listen to this in the car with your kids. So that's the frame I'm listening into it. I'm trying to listen to scenarios or situations that are unapproved for children to be listening to. So I don't often listen to the context or the things going on in the interviews. So we're going to check that out. Evan has prepared a few clips for me that I have not seen yet. And we're going to react to them. God, it's just as loud as it was then. It is just as loud now as it was then. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Colecast. This is episode 8 of season 2. Producer Evan.
I'm not going to bother with it.
All right. Episode 8 of season 2. And this is our year-end wrap-up. That is as far as I've been informed. So I'm going to kick it over to Nathan. And we're going to talk about what we've been doing in our goings-ons. And he'll take it from here. Oh, and you just let it play
this
forever,
is pretty jammy.
Yeah.
I like this. Just keep it going.
This is the right kind of lo-fi.
Well, Evan brought us presents, so
Yeah.
I'd like to
Yeah.
get into that first.
So you guys can open those up.
Hold on, pause.
You gotta
this.
have breakfast before.
I also want to let everybody know that what you're hearing was not that quiet in our headphones. And I think this might have began where Nathan thought he had to scream into the microphone.
Yeah.
This is like the origin of Nathan screaming into the mic, because through that entire episode, you just would start randomly playing that. And it was so loud.
Well, it wasn't that song. We'll get in. You'll see what song it was.
Oh, okay. Now I remember. Yeah. But the audio you were feeding into our ears was so loud that we genuinely had to shout to be able to hear each other. You could pick it back up again. It was so loud.
Presents. Rules inside. You must follow them.
There are rules inside.
Yeah.
Should our hands be clean?
No, you're good.
Because
We shouldn't share the rules.
today's kind of been a rough day. I'm reading my rules first.
You can give me a very loud
Catch
bell.
2 to keep.
Ringing it already.
Yep, there it is. Wait, he got a monster in his? I want a monster. Why did he get a
Never had one
monster?
of those before.
They're good, aren't they?
I'm just going to say giving Nathan an energy drink and a bell seems
Yeah.
like a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. Will you explain the bell rule so that I don't have to?
Yeah, I ring it and you play Christmas music.
Oh my god.
This was the worst thing you've ever done.
I'm really into this. This is a good
I'm
time.
mad at you again. I love Christmas.
I do
It's,
too.
it's like 4th of July and Christmas are like the 2 times a year that like the depression goes away. Sick.
Ah,
Yeah.
Are we
no
sponsored
longer
by
a
this yet?
family-rated podcast.
That's still true.
Are we sponsored yet?
It's still
The
true.
monster. We're working on it.
And yeah, so Christmas and 4th of July, 100% still my absolute favorite times of the year. When I worked in retail, Christmas was the only day that I had off every year, no matter what. I worked on Thanksgiving, and we would open at like 9 p.m. And be open all the way up until like 10 or 11 o'clock for Black Friday. The couple of different stores that I worked, several companies actually, that I worked for. So I love Christmas for that. Also, that was like when I was like growing up as a kid, my family is not, I didn't necessarily not grow up with my cousins, but I saw every single cousin, aunt, uncle, everybody was in one place, during Christmas. And that was the one time a year that we did that. And so that was fun. You know, I might go see my cousins a couple times or, you know, go over here or go over there. But as far as like big family get-togethers, Christmas was always really important for that. And then 4th of July, once again, we love America, period. Like America is awesome. And we are blessed and fortunate enough to live in a country that while we have our problems, we have the ability to celebrate our successes just as much. And I was raised with a great respect for America and what we're trying to do. This is an ongoing concept of the human condition, essentially. And it gives you the opportunity to celebrate, you know, the brave soldiers, you know, the first, Second Amendment, right? Or like just like the cool stuff we've done. Like, why would you not love America? Plus, thing go boom, pretty color, right? Like, there's just literally nothing to not love about America. And the 4th of July, you get hot dogs and hamburgers, you get pools, you get floaties, you get the slip and slides. You get to wear okay. First of all, name another holiday where you're just not expected to wear a shirt. Name one other holiday where it's like, oh, 4th of July, if I have a shirt on, I'm getting made fun of.
I cannot think of one.
Exactly. So, no shirt, no shoes, no problem, baby. 4th of July. So that is still very much true. And then, just sealing up that one real quick. I'm still very angry again at Evan because that episode was a lot of Nathan ringing that bell.
Yeah,
was a lot of volume in the headphones.
Yeah, that was my bad.
And if I remember correctly, that was like pushing the end of the shipping month when we recorded that. So I had already painted like a bunch of presses, and I was like, all right, guys, we have an hour until they dry. I need to get up here, shoot this podcast, be back down there to start wrapping stuff up so that we can get this pushed out for the end of the month. And it was, I want to use swear words. See, this is where I would listen later in the podcast and be like, hey, we can't air this. We got to take this down. But it was a calamity. There we go.
That was good.
It was a calamity.
Great substitution.
It was. And that's when we were still upstairs too, which had a lot cooler visual vibe.
Yeah.
But when it was cold, it was real cold. And when it was hot, it was unbearable.
Yep.
So, all right. Next clip. Or not. I mean, leave me hang.
I'm getting it. Dang.
Evan has not improved his producing skills. If we're being honest.
No, I have not.
To start out with, my son, his name's Bob also. He was in the Navy for 8.5 years. In the beginning of May, he came home and everything seemed fine, but on May 25th, he took his own life. So I'm trying to raise awareness for veterans. It's a terrible pandemic of veteran suicide. And then also to try to reach families to understand they're not alone, Because we had absolutely zero idea, any indication that he was struggling with anything.
Yeah. So before the podcast, you shared an overwhelming amount of emails that you had put into a collection. It was very, very overwhelming is the only word I can think of.
It was.
And I'm sure that was just a fraction of the communication you've had with people.
Yeah.
And the type of person that was represented in those emails, I think is the type of person that we can all aspire to be. And it was constantly bringing, it was every other email was, I know for a matter of fact that I had a better time in life because of your son and specific examples.
Very specific examples. And so he was a electronic technician in the nuclear Navy. He spent the last 2.5 years teaching Navy sailors how to run nuclear reactors, So from what I understand, that division is the top 1% of the top 1% in the military.
Yeah.
And from what everybody says, he was the best of them, And I'm trying to raise awareness that it's not just combat veterans that are struggling. It's also, anybody with that type of stress for that amount of time. So that day, just to give it, when I say we had no indication, he was fine. You know, I was getting ready for Blade Show. I was getting ready to go to my first Blade Show, you know, and we talked in the afternoon a little bit, you know, told him I appreciate him and I'm proud of him because he had a good job lined up and all that stuff, you know. And later that night, I go take a shower. Well, I step back. He went grocery shopping that afternoon. Asked me if I need anything from the grocery store, you know. And, no, I'm all set. Thank you, though, you know. And so later that night, his sister left, go visit a friend that day, and he was texting with her, and they were joking back and forth. And we're in the kitchen with my wife, myself, and him, and we're laughing and joking, and everybody's happy. And we decided we're going to go to bed, and an hour later, he was gone.
Sure.
So it's just, you just never know.
That might have been, in my opinion, one of the most important interviews that we've ever done. I know it's kind of heavy to mix that in there while we're having fun, but it is important to us to make sure that we share the causes and share the real life experiences and the real life things that happen to us. Because when I say that our goal as Coal Iron Works is to create community, I'm not just talking about forging together at Quad State. I'm not just talking about meeting at IBA meetings. I'm specifically and even more intentionally talking about people that can rally with you and that you can lean on in times like this. And sorry, watching that podcast clip just brought back all of the emotions when Bob, I had talked to Bob a little bit, maybe just a comment here, a comment there on Bob's stuff for a couple of years. And I ran into him at an event in Michigan. He came up to me and we talked for a second and he goes, well, I'm so sorry. I'm being rude. My name's Bob Rankin. And I said, Bob, I know who you are. There's no way that like people don't know who you are. And he said, oh, okay. You know, thank you so much. Like, I appreciate that. And he was just the kindest, sweetest man. And I said, we got to get you on. We got to bring you up here. And so I didn't really know him that well. And as he was driving up, he called me and he said, hey, is it okay if I send you this email? And this email was just full of people that had reached out to Bob. And, you know, when people pass on and you go and you hear their eulogy, they'll say, oh, this, he would give you the shirt off his back, or he was the kind of guy that would buy groceries for a widow, or, you know, you hear these things. This was the first time that I had ever seen somebody be spoken of in that regard, but also everybody had specific examples. There was an example, I mean, this has been 2 or 3 years ago that we shot this episode, and I still vividly remember reading the email. There was a woman who it was his landlady who was having some trouble with is either a rough guy in the neighborhood or maybe an ex. And Bob went and sat on her porch and just, everything's going to be cool. Didn't instigate the circumstance or anything like that. He just said, you know what? I'm just going to go hang out. There was another one that they responded and said, hey, we were in a group together. We were doing ghost hunts and there was a weird guy in the group, and Bob followed him to his car and made sure that he knew that he was no longer welcome. And obviously did it without violence or intimidation or anything like that. And he just, these specific examples stick out to me. And doing that episode, Bob was able to be so transparent that we had to stop the episode so that I could cry. And I don't know how many of you guys I know in real life, but I am not necessarily the most emotional person. And Bob was able to be so transparent and so honest with his sharing of what had happened, but also about what his son was able to do in his life that we had to stop the episode to cry. And I thank you, Evan, for making that on the list. That to me, potentially may be the most important interview we've ever done. I hope that grazed the ear of a few people and made a difference. I hope that caught some attention and made a difference in a few lives, because it wasn't easy for Bob to get down here. and spend that time in the car. He had Rocco with him to kind of fill some of the gaps, but spend about 6 hours in the car driving down here, and then talk about it on camera. And with everything he was going through, that wasn't easy. It wasn't easy for me and Evan to sit with a new friend and do it publicly. This wasn't something that we ever planned on doing. But when I think we saw Bob on one other podcast, and that's kind of why we were like, okay, if he's wanting to do this, we want to help support him. And so we got him down here, but we when we started the podcast, we never thought we were going to do that. We never thought we were going to get Warriors Way on. We never thought we were going to talk about, let alone this topic or this situation, but we never thought we were going to talk about like bringing people back together as a community. We never thought we were going to talk about rallying old men together to train us young men in the ways of life, not just in blacksmithing. So I do think that this interview kind of changed the trajectory of the way that we saw the podcast, me specifically. And then the response that we got from it, I was able to see not only was it changing the trajectory of where we are going with the podcast and what we're doing, but really what intentionality and purpose becomes. I feel like those are just flash words, but it really showed me of what we're here to do and what we're as a podcast, not necessarily as a human being, but I am eternally grateful for Bob coming down and sharing this with us. I'm eternally grateful for Bob coming down and sharing his life with us after we've become very close friends. I love Bob with my whole heart, and I am going to take this time to plug. Bob just put a book out. You can buy, you have it pulled up already. Okay. You can buy a physical copy on Amazon. You can buy a digital copy, I believe, for Kindle, one of the two. But this is somebody who, I don't read self-help books, but this is somebody that I have watched go through the struggle, the fire, the flame, and I've also seen the outcome of him working on himself and being able to enjoy moments with friends, and how sweet of a man he is. Genuine. I can't describe with any other words. He's just a sweet man. But I am forever grateful for pushing through, because there were moments where we were talking where it got emotional enough that I wanted to back out, and I didn't, because I thought it would be important. And the other part of it was what's hard. It's pick your hard, right? Is it harder to stand up in the middle of an interview and say I can't do this, or just sit through it for a couple more minutes? So if you guys haven't listened to that one, it is definitely not something I would listen to in the car with children, but it is very important. And I think it gives you a very good insight, not necessarily from it's not the same as a lot of other preventional conversations. This is a survivor's conversation. And this is somebody who now is picking up the pieces and moving forward with what life has handed to them, and is doing a great job at it. And there is nothing but respect for Bob from our entire company. So I won't go on any longer, because I can genuinely, we could do another 4-hour podcast just covering this podcast. So Evan, roll the next clip.
They were much of a blacksmith shop at that point.
Yeah. Well, you look at all the
built the big hammers and built a big. All the big hammers are is a steam engine.
Right. It's just a simple steam engine. Yeah. Really, you're just sending the piston out of the head. All right, are you ready for us? You want me to do my intro? See, Evan, this is why it's so nice to just have a soft open, because we can just talk about hacksaws and forging hammers, and
Why don't you just go ahead and
okay, I'll do it.
Do it, and we'll just keep rolling.
Okay. Are you going to do the intro music?
I'll put it in at the beginning later.
You're going to put it in later?
Yeah.
All right.
You didn't.
So I just looked at the camera.
No,
Yeah.
I did.
Is your last name Fehrenbach?
That's my last.
Nathan was trying to convince me to do soft opens or cold opens for a while.
Yeah.
And I finally let him do one. and I got a lot of comments or I guess concerns. People thought I edited it wrong.
Oh,
they're like, "Hey, you left in like a lot of the beginning of that, right?" It's like, no, I meant to.
Yeah, that was
He
intentional.
asked me to.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's kind of messy, but whatever. It's a great episode.
Okay. I was pronouncing it right.
Yeah.
I hate getting in front of somebody and talking to a camera right in front of them and just butcher the name.
I've heard it all different ways. You know?
I'm sure. Are you ready, Evan?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, welcome to the Colecast.
so
I'm
bad
Nathan
at it.
Brandt. Today we have the
He was so,
incredible.
when we first started, he was so bad at like, you'd be like, okay, go. And he would go, okay. And then he'd wait 20 seconds. I completely forgot about that. He would wait like 20 seconds or he would just scream.
Yeah.
Like, we posted that clip a week or so ago of me being like, all right, I have to get in the mood and just going, whoa. Like, Nathan would genuinely do that to warm up his voice, but he would wait. He'd be like, okay, is everybody ready? Are we good? And then he would just start screaming to warm up his voice. I completely forgot he ever did that.
It was good stuff.
Wonderful. Kurt Fehrenbach on our show. I am super excited to talk about a man whose, work experience in the forging industry predates me by about probably 2x. So the number of incredible things that you've done in your life and put your hand to the plow and actually like made industrial forgings and participated in like large scale stuff. I'm really excited to delve in and hear a little bit about all the amazing things you've been able to do in your life. So really happy to have you on the show.
Well, I'm glad to be here. It's quite an honor to be over here doing this.
Well, I know when I lived in Cicero, just south of you in Atlanta, and I would drive past your shop all the time, and somebody, I don't know, maybe it was Andy, told me, oh, yeah, Kurt's got like a 600-pound steam hammer in there and all kinds of big mechanical hammers. And I was so nervous to come and meet you. I was like, man, I'm nobody. Like, he's not gonna. And come to find out, that's your favorite. It's getting people that don't know what they're doing yet.
I'm no different than anybody else. You know?
Yeah. Well, so tell me, Kurt, how did you get into forging in the first place? Let's start there.
It goes way back.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been playing with metal for 53 years.
That's awesome.
And I started out as a kid, and my grandfather at that time, I was probably about 5 or 6 years old, and my grandfather at that time owned Indianapolis Drop Forge.
Okay.
With a couple other partners.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And they had a lot of big drop hammers.
Yeah.
And Dad was a metallurgist there.
Okay.
So on the weekends, Dad would take me to work with him.
Yeah.
You know, and then all he'd do is work, put me in a blacksmith shop.
Yeah.
And the blacksmith would watch over me. I was 5 or 6.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing a bang and a flash and the steam and the long line of hammers and trim presses, and it was a big building.
Yeah.
After that, the Vietnam War was over, and they sold out and to a guy who basically went in there and depleted the company, and and that's where Fountain Town came from.
Okay.
Fountain Town Forge.
So was that like some of the equipment and the people moved over into
They moved over to Fountain Town.
Okay.
Golly. So when I do Kurt's voice, now you guys have heard it who hadn't listened to that podcast or haven't met him in person. When I do Kurt's voice, that's what I'm trying to emulate. That's first of all. Next up is I remember when we did this episode, me and Nathan we fought over who was going to talk to him.
Yeah, there was an option for you to both be there, and that apparently was not a solution.
I'm not going to say who said that wouldn't be a solution.
Yeah, I know.
But it wasn't me. But then as soon as we got done, I remember you guys being like, oh man, you couldn't understand a word that he was saying. I'm listening to this right now. I've never listened to this. I'm listening to it. I can understand every single word he says.
I'm really impressed with the auto captions. I didn't type that. It caught all that.
Well, I wasn't reading them because I don't need them. Like, is it that bad?
No,
like
it's really not. It's fun to poke at, but
yeah,
it's really not that bad.
Like it becomes what do they call that? Like a characteristics becomes like cartoon
caricature.
Caricature. Yeah. Becomes a caricature of him. Yeah, like obviously we talk about Kurt a ton on this podcast, and I want to make sure that he is represented in the correct light because we're friends with him, and he's not here to hear me making fun of him. Sometimes I feel bad, but he's genuinely the best, and he, that was 3 years ago, so now he's 55 years into forging. He knows more than just about anybody under the sun about forging. And I love his approach to things, which is, get it done and move on. You take your skills and move on as well. You don't just move on to the next project and knock it out as soon as possible. Like take enough time to where you're learning and you're doing it correctly, but you can't take 5 years to do one project. It's like, get it out the door. Let's keep going. He has a really good mindset when it comes to the combination of like actually working within a craft, but also being productive and profitable. And then he pairs that with his Thursday nights where everybody just comes and hangs out, and it is a great time for everybody, whether it's your first time swinging a hammer or whether you're Gary, who's been doing it for 20 or 30 years, you're still learning from Kurt. So, Kurt is just such a good staple to have here, and we're so blessed to be close to him that we want to get him on a national scale. We want people in Oregon giving him a phone call and saying, hey, I'm coming to Indiana to come to this Thursday night thing I keep hearing about. Or, hey, I have a class scheduled with Cole Friday and Saturday. I'm going to go out Wednesday so that Thursday I can go out to Kurt's, right? I want to do everything I can to push him into the spotlight he deserves. I got accused of this one time with somebody else, but I'm not trying to use Kurt's name to advance Cole Ironworks. Kurt doesn't need that from us. Or I'm sorry, let me take that back. I'm not trying to use Kurt's name to make Cole look better. Like, I'm not trying to do the affiliation like, oh, like we're friends with Kurt, Kurt, like Kurt, Kurt Faribault, like we're friends, like he likes us. I'm not trying to do that. I think what I'm trying to do when we talk about Kurt and when we acknowledge him is A, give him credit for what he's done for us. He's bought coal off of us. He's bought steel off of us. He already has a press, but he would come and teach us how to do forgings. He came and did a power hammer class with us, and he started with safety. Like he started from the ground floor. Kurt has done so much for us that when I go to events and I hear people talking about their Toby Hickmans or their Clifton Ralphs or their Clay Spencers, right? All these guys that, whether you're tucked up in different areas of America, you hear about these giants. In my mind, Kurt Faribault deserves to be up there. And so because Kurt isn't on the internet giving people advice on the internet, he's too busy doing it in person. It is now our job to be Kurt's internet representative. So I love Kurt. I'm so glad that we had him on. I really want to have him on again. And I honestly just want him to talk to, we should have a series where Kurt just like does an interview with another blacksmith every couple months or something. Have him come out, just talk to people, because he is so quiet until he's invited into the conversation. And he's not loud. He's not going to overrun it. He's not annoying, but he's so intelligent and insightful that he has a ton of questions and he has a ton of stories and key points that he's making that I think he would do really, really well. Like getting some old time blacksmiths together and having Kurt lead like a round circle. So,
a round circle.
Round table, my bad. Round table. You'd think after 100 episodes I'd learn to talk. All right, let's go to the next one.
Yep.
I'm going to talk about Rookie Blacksmith of the Year because that's an award that can go from somebody that's 12 or 13 all the way up to 35 that had never done it before. All it takes is getting nominated by somebody in your community. Do you know who nominated you?
Kurt.
Kurt nominated you? Do you know why he nominated you?
Well, I actually don't know who nominated me. I know who nominated me in 2023. Mm-hmm. Kurt nominated me in 2023. I don't know who
I don't know if I've ever caught that. Who nominated you? Kurt. Oh, why'd he nominate you? I don't know who nominated me.
It's pretty good.
That's such a every once in a while Noah will hit you with stuff like that where it's like, oh yeah, you're 11. I forgot. Like he's very, very mature in a lot of aspects. He's a terrific blacksmith, well talented beyond his years. But every once in a while, he'll hit you with one of those things where you're like, oh yeah, 12-year-old, got it. Actually, I think he's 13 now, but yeah, you can keep going. I don't think I'd ever caught that.
Me in 2024. But I think Kurt nominated me because he saw my work ethic and he saw the way that I forged, and I think he saw something in my forging that I didn't see.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, this is special.
Yeah.
He saw the
Brad.
way that I forged and the way that I worked and the way that I conducted myself. And he knew that it was different from most kids.
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't just a summer camp thing for you. It was sought after, and you were willing to put the work in. You were willing to not only put the work in, but you don't wait for instruction. You jump in.
Which is a real problem in school.
Yeah, that's
They'll
fair.
hand me the test and they'll be halfway through explaining a question, and I'll have already figured out the question and done the rest of the test.
Yeah.
Well, and
because
also,
I just jump in immediately.
Also, your involvement, helping people learn, helping teach those classes. I mean, that's a big part of it too.
Yeah. And coming to IBA meetings, coming to the Andy Davis Hammer-In that we do every year, there's not a couple hours that go by. Hey, well, it used to be Mr. Francis. I know we're friends now because you don't call me Mr. Francis anymore, but hey, Mr. Francis, is there anything you need? Can I do anything?
Find the work, do the work, as Kurt says.
You come run over to me. Hey, Chuck wants to know if we can have more 1045 or whatever. And it's, yeah, buddy, let's go get it. So, your commitment to your own growth, coupled with being committed to other people's growth, and your willingness to be part of the greater atmosphere, I think is probably why you were nominated. And if I remember correctly, I think you were nominated a lot more than by just one person in 2024.
I think there were maybe 3 people nominated because so many groups, I think, nominated. I think there were 2 groups who had nominated one candidate, a group who nominated this guy, and then a lot of groups who nominated me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even know that I was in. And
I know. We could tell by your reaction.
And I just said, and Dad would tell me, hey, there's a blacksmithing event. Do you want to go? And I said, yes. Before he even finished his sentence. Yes, I want to go. And a lot of the school clubs are on Thursdays or on weekends, and I just don't join.
Yeah.
Because blacksmithing is more important to me.
We haven't talked about Noah in a while. Noah is still blacksmithing. He's still going to Kurt's. Noah's still a rad kid. We enjoyed him being around. There's a couple things in that interview. Like I said, the Kurt nominated me. I don't know who nominated me. Like that stuck out to me. And then you might have heard me say sweet brag, him being like, yeah, well, Kurt just saw that I was like a generational talent. And that, my voice was a mixture between Jesus and Fergie. And you could see Kevin beside him being like, well, I don't know about that. So this was also a fun interview because this was the first time that we sat down with a father and son. And this is also probably one of the rare occasions where a son got a father into blacksmithing. Like we talked about in the episode, Kevin's great grandfather or grandfather had been a blacksmith and had a blacksmith shop in Muncie and all this stuff. And then when Corbin got into it, Kevin got into it, and Kevin used to say, I'm not a blacksmith. I'm just here to swing a hammer. And he has become a wonderful blacksmith. Kevin is one of the smartest people you'll ever talk to, but he won't ever let you know it. Where there's a lot of people where you talk to them for a little while, they'll it'll surprise you. It'll catch on how smart they are. Kevin does not need to prove anything to you about how smart he is. until a situation comes up where you're working together and he's like, okay, I need to divide, 5/8 by 7/16 and I need to move this here. And he like does volume calculations. He's like, okay, we need a 1/4 inch, a half. And you're like, what? And then you do the math and you're like, yep, that's exactly what I need. So Kevin is also a terrific blacksmith. Noah's a terrific blacksmith. And the way that Noah has come up is by the community rallying around him and giving into him. And it's all been completely selfless. And I see that. And I think we can acknowledge that because I watch it happen. But I think also anybody that can come in when Noah's, say, 35, 40 years old and he's still blacksmithing, anybody will be able to look at him and say, okay, this guy was poured into by a bunch of selfless people because he'll be taking the same selfless acts. And I already see that when we're at events. He is cleaning stations that he didn't make dirty. He is going around trying to help people while they're forging, which has been funny sometimes. But he is just as giving because that's the example he's been given. It's a weird sentence, but he's selfless because that's the example he's been given. And from a distance, I'm not his dad, I'm not his uncle, I'm not anything super special important to him. But I've been super proud to watch how he's grown, not just as a blacksmith, but as a human. And so, in that regard, we want to honor Kevin and Noah and Kurt and all the people that have fed into Paul and Rob and I could go on. So I'll stop it there because I could literally say every name I can think of. But we are going to do another giveaway for Young Smiths. Play a buzzer noise or something. A round of applause.
Put me on the spot.
My life. You can always find that one.
Yeah. Oh man, my keybind doesn't work.
Oh, dang it. Okay.
My wife.
There we go. Okay. That's the announcement for the Young Smiths. Oh, that's so terrible. Yeah. All right. So what we are going to do for the Young Smiths, this is inspired by Noah and by Kevin and by watching the selflessness of the community. We are going to do a giveaway that does not benefit you whatsoever. Okay. When you're young and you're starting out, you don't have 5 different hammers and 20 sets of tongs and the best forge and the best place to put your forge. And maybe you don't even have a shed to forge in, right? So when you're starting out, you tend to use what's in front of you. And a lot of times that can be dangerous or unsafe. And so when we took a step back and we said, hey, how do we support young makers? How do we do this with getting the right thing to the right people? With some of the other giveaways that we've done, it's just kind of been random, right? We obviously take our time to be intentional with some other stuff where we've donated or whatever. But as far as like giveaways go, it's kind of random. So what we want to do with this one is be intentional and get it to the right person and make sure that it makes the most difference. So, adults listening, if you have a young man or young lady in your life that is into forging and you believe they deserve recognition, we'll call it, I want you to send me an email to info@coaliron.com, info@coaliron.com with the subject Rookie Smith. And I want you to tell me that young person's name and why they deserve to win. Okay. So the example would be, my name's Francis Stroll and I am a part of the IBA, Indiana Blacksmith Association, whatever. If you put in your abbreviation, I'll probably know what it is, or I'll at least be able to look it up. So I'm part of the IBA. In my blacksmithing group, we have a young man that comes to every event, every satellite group, and is constantly helpful, is constantly involved in classes, is constantly learning. Here's a couple pictures of example of his work if I have it. And I would love to recognize him because this young man heard find the work, do the work, and went for it. He found the work, he did the work. And as he continues to do the work, I think he deserves some recognition for taking the right actions in life. Sincerely, Francis. That's the email. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear why this person deserves this, okay? And let me just throw this out there. Noah could win. I want to make this clear, okay? Noah could win this because the thing we're giving away, Noah doesn't have. So, it'd be kind of funny if he won an award that was inspired by him. It'd go back to his something special. So, how do you win? Or I'm sorry, what do you win? The first is we are going to do a editorial. I haven't decided if that's going to be a short YouTube where we let you come out to the school and shoot a YouTube video where you are teaching maybe Friedrich's Cross or a railroad spike knife or whatever. Or if it's just going to be a Instagram post of some videos and pictures that you've shared and then an editorial write-up from Evan about your work and what you've done to accomplish so much in such a short time as a young smith. So that's what you'll win. Evan, do you think that's enough?
I don't know. I think we should send him something.
Should we send him something?
Yeah.
Dang. I think a lot of young smiths, the problem with young smiths is that they're a bunch of wieners.
Yes.
They're a bunch of weak, soft. They got Jell-O for muscles.
Mm-hmm.
We should send them something heavy.
Yes.
I think what we should send them should be roughly 125 pounds so that it's just light enough to be able to ship parcel.
Mm-hmm.
And our UPS guy can be mad at us again.
Yep, always.
So let's go ahead and give away a forge cart to a young maker.
Woohoo.
So what you guys are writing for is we're going to do an editorial, but we're also going to send them a forge cart so that they can start building their forge out. Now, obviously this is for propane. I think that's the way that things are going for most young smiths. I don't think most young smiths are coming up with coal anymore. So let's send them a forge cart. Let's get their forge started in the right place with a good, safe, sturdy, safe, I'll say safe again, cart. Because one thing that we learned when we did the initial announcement and the giveaway for the forge cart is that even adults are doing sketchy things with their forges.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the stuff we saw posted was crazy. However, we also saw some really good ingenuity. So maybe we should make the young smiths send us pictures of their current because there was one dude who took a grill and took the actual grill body off and put his tongue racks and stuff around it. And it was like, okay, this was kind of sturdy to start out with, but now that everything's welded in, it looks, and that's why he didn't win is because it's like, dude, this is a really nice cart.
He was halfway there.
It just looks kind of weird because it used to be a grill. It's a really nice cart though. Or at least that was our interpretation. I don't really, it could have collapsed at any moment, but that is our giveaway for young smiths. So going over that one last time, email me. Subject matter: Rookie Smiths. info@coaliron.com. My name is such and such. If you're a part of a blacksmithing guild, include that. That's how I'm going to keep track of if a blacksmithing guild has nominated the same young person multiple times. That way it has a little bit more weight than if just like one person, everybody gets nominated once and one person has a really good write-up. But if somebody gets nominated like 8 times by the same guild, whatever. Moving on.
Real quick. Yep. Is there an age limit that we're setting for this? What is young smith?
Yeah, entail? I would say 17 and under.
Cool.
Yeah, if you can't vote, you can win.
Awesome.
Yeah. Easy enough. That's 17 and under seems good.
Cool.
So you're going to include that description of why they deserve to get recognized on a small Instagram. We're not huge, but give awareness in their community. And then also, I literally just decided this, whatever conference is near you. So if you're in California, I'll send you to CBA. If you're in Texas, I'll send you one of the Texas events. If you're in Florida, I'll send you one of the Florida events. Whatever contest is nearest you, I'll also buy your admission for the next year. I won't be able to afford hotel and lodging and all that stuff, but I will buy your conference ticket into the next event. So you're going to email me and you're going to say, this is why this person deserves to win. Here's some picture of their work. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Goodbye. In return, we are going to make either an Instagram post or a YouTube short video with them if they're close enough. And then the final thing we're going to do, we'll buy your way into the conference. We'll do the post. And then we'll also send you out a forge cart so that you can start your forge safely. So.
Very cool.
All right. Well, guys, that leads me into my next train of thought. And it has nothing to do with my pre-scheduled script. It has everything to do with it, Evan. Don't get worried.
Okay.
Looking back, I'm going to reminisce a little bit here. Just like when we were young Smiths and we were doing stupid stuff like, trying to make a bench and trying to epoxy wood to steel. Hot glue. I wouldn't even call it epoxy. It was carpet glue. We tried to stick a piece of cherry wood to some steel with carpet glue that our buddy Joe had brought over, and it did not work. So imagine that. So just like how we do lesson-based experiences, life learning experiences as young Smiths, and now that we're older and we have the proper tools and the proper training, we're much more adept. I want to look at the Colecast. And the Colecast moving from its infancy of, talking about the history of which I went back and listened to recently. I think we did a pretty good job at it. And I think the second episode blends in very nicely with what we're trying to do, but we almost have gone into another phase where we need to do another follow-up of Cole Part 3 of where we're going moving forward. Cause me and Logan kind of touched on it, but we want to, I would love to talk about what we've learned as operators and what we've learned as blacksmiths and what we've learned as community members. Even in the past 9 months, there's been tremendous growth in not just myself as a general manager for a company, but as a human being and as a business person, I guess, kind of, sort of. It's been really nice to have the backing of a slightly larger company, so I can make a couple mistakes, but still, they leave me and Logan up to the rodeo. So it's been nice to be able to learn some lessons without, being too worried about it. We take it emotionally. We're very invested, but I never have to worry about if payroll's going to get filled. I never have to worry about stuff like that. And that's a tremendous blessing. So, anywho, moving on. What is the Colecast going to become? What we have to look back at what we started at. We just wanted to talk about Cole Ironworks, and when we talked about what we wanted to be as a podcast, it was like, okay, we're going to talk about what's going on at Cole Ironworks. Well, that quickly became apparent that I can't get on and talk for an hour every single week about. Well, I painted 3 presses and I shipped out 5 induction forges. And, every once in a while we have a big, hey, we bought 2 mills in the past 3 months. Hey, we got a new welder. Every once in a while we have big stuff, right? That's normal, but that's not every week. So that became impossible. So we said, okay, meet the homies, meet the people that are involved at Cole, meet the people that are making your press work, that are designing it, that are building it, meet other makers that are using it. Okay, meet other makers that don't use our press. And it evolved from there where it just became more focused on community and getting people's backstories really is what we focused on for the first couple seasons. Couple seasons was a lot of backstories about what are you working on now? What's in the shop? And Season 3, I think, kind of started defining the new era of true focus on community involvement and excelling and propelling and inspiring other small businesses. So that is where I see the future of the Colecast going. We are going to continue diving into learning about other makers, but I don't get people that come up to me at events and say, hey, Francis, I really liked when you had Kurt Holland on and he talked about the way that he forged in his clip point, or I like the way that he talked about the XYZ about him growing up, right? Like that all is a good part of it. But I think what I've learned is that I can move on from those points and I can really get into what inspires you and who are you as a person and what do you want the people around you to know about. One of my biggest regrets with this podcast is me and Kurt were one of the first few episodes with a guest. And Evan, how long did it take for you to set up that podcast? Probably like 35, 40 minutes. Because we were still getting lighting and
yeah.
I mean, it was probably a while.
10, 12 minutes.
Oh no, it was a long time.
You guys sure talked for a long time.
And maybe you were done halfway through a conversation, just didn't interrupt us.
Yeah.
But we talked about everything from 200 person communities. I can't remember what that number is called, but you essentially can hold 200 person relationships or 200 personal relationships before you start losing empathy for people and they become a sector away. And so the example would be first you have your family, then you have your neighbors, then you have your local community, and then you have your greater community, and then you have your city, and then you have your state, and then so on and so forth. We had a really good conversation about that. We had a really good conversation about what the difference is between like people who think they're eating healthy with synthetic foods and people who are actually eating healthy with food that they're growing on their own. We talked about water quality. We talked about raw milk. Like,
this is your first time ever talking to him.
This was my first time ever talking to him. And I had just mentioned something off the cuff about like, yeah, dude, was it right after I bought or it was when I was first looking at buying houses. And I told him I was like, hey, I want to move out to a place where I know both neighbors on both sides, but they can't hear me when I wake up with a night terror, right? Like I want space, but I want to be invested in their communities. And when I'm having a barbecue, I want to be able to text them and say, hey, come on over. I'm having a barbecue. And it just went from there. And we had this awesome conversation. But at that point, that wasn't the purpose of the podcast. So we just didn't put it in there. That is now where we're going to be moving into. That is going to be the goal, the point, the purpose, the whole emphasis of the podcast is we are going to talk about not just what makers are working on, what they're up to. We're not just going to be talking about what's new and hip in the industry. Those things all will get covered. Don't worry. But what I'm more concerned about is the legacy that we're leaving for the young blacksmiths that are coming up. I'm worried about what knowledge and what's being left on the table, right? Like what are we losing by only talking about techniques and skills? What are we losing by not talking about giving in to other young smiths? What are we losing by not talking about being selfless? What are we losing by not talking about being involved with your community, whether it's chosen or physical or whatever, right? So I see a lot of that moving forward. And then as Logan and I make decisions, I really, really want to be transparent about the decisions that we're making and changes that are happening and tell you guys what inspired us, why we made those decisions, what outcomes we're seeking, and what the purpose of all this is for, right? Because at the end of the day, if you were to sit me down and you were to say, Francis, what is Coal Iron Works about? And skip 45 seconds if I've said this too many times, blacksmithing is super cool and I'm so glad that I get to be involved in it. Building machines is super cool and I'm super glad that I get to be involved in it. But the purpose of Coal Iron Works has nothing to do with those things. Those are the avenues that we choose to do the thing that we're doing. The purpose of Coal Iron Works is to create a legacy that inspires people and feeds the people that are on our journey with us, right? So what we want to do is we want to take care of our Gregs and our Sams and our Nigels and, even our Logans and our Francises, right? Like we want people to be able to walk into our doors, feel respected. First of all, that is the very first thing. Shout out Nate Hallett. I can't hug you, so you're going to get a handshake and a good morning. But you are going to, I want every single employee to walk in and feel respected. Second, I want them to feel like it's okay to come to me with problems. I want them to say, hey, this isn't working out. This thing on the floor, I want to be approachable. That's my second goal or focus, I guess. And then third is like, I've always had this image of like having a best friend means that when you're 95 years old, my rocking chair is parked right next to yours and we're sitting rocking on the porch. My goal is for all 11 of us to have to find a porch big enough, right? Just like you have your community.
Cracker Barrel.
There it goes. Yeah, they do have a lot of rocking chairs. But my purpose is that just like you might find community at church or in a bowling league or, in a rock band that you might play a couple bar gigs with your boys with, right? Like those circumstances and those activities that create community. And I definitely have that with a few blacksmiths, but I also want that with the guys that I'm here with. I work anywhere from, there are weeks I work 40. I know that's crazy. Sorry guys, banker's hours. I work anywhere from 40 to 60, 65 hours a week. If I'm traveling, there's a show that I'm the only one going. Like there's all kinds of stuff. Today I'll be here until 6:00 trying to get stuff out. It's the end of the month, right? So I spend a lot of time with these guys. I want them to be my best friends. I'm not going to force them. I also will never say like, oh, like we're just going to become a family. But that's my goals. I want everybody to get along and I want everybody to grow from each other and I want everybody to respect each other and I want everybody to feel included and I want them to feel like when we're 95 years old, we can all sit on the front porch together and drink sweet tea, look at the sunset and talk about the good times. Right. So that's where we're going. And that's what I want the podcast to reflect. Evan and I talked about this recently. Do we want the Colecast to be its own thing? Or do we want the Colecast to be an extension of Cole Ironworks? And I kind of worked it backwards in my mind where I was like, okay, what do I want the Colecast to be? And what do I want Cole Ironworks to be? And I really liked the answer that I had for Cole Ironworks better. For the Colecast better. I do that all the time. I liked the answer that I had for the Colecast better is I want this to be about community involvement. I want it to be about inspiring and growing people. I want it to be about nurturing people into a place where they can be the best version of themselves. And that is at a large scale. That is we get anywhere from 500 to, we've got a couple podcasts that are like 2,000, 3,000 listeners just on YouTube. So, but I would say our typical is probably about 500 to 1,000, depending on the episode. And if I can do that at a small, minute, little pinch of an impact on that scale, I really hope that I can do that on a much larger impact to guys that I see 60 hours a week. So that's where we're going. The podcast will continue to be an extension of what Cole is doing. But with that being said, it did kind of make me shift my focus on what Cole is, because it is really easy to get caught up when your product is cool and when what people are doing with your product is cool and what accessories they're making with your product is cool and the inspiration and the creativity that's coming around it is all super awesome and people making businesses like Josh Weston, that's all awesome. It's really easy to get caught up in that and then forget why we're here. It started to feed 2 young families. And now my hope is that it's going to feed 11 young families and continue to nurture 11 men that I can say with confidence that these are the right people to do the jobs that is expected out of them, not just physically, but also emotionally and spiritually and all the other extra stuff that people kind of miss when they talk about jobs. We have the right people here. So I want to make sure that we're nurturing and fostering that environment, that culture, to make sure that moving forward, this is the best place to be, not just as a customer, but as an employee as well. So that's the goal. That's where we're going as the Colecast. As part of that, I am a hectic leader. I dip my little toesy into your cell for a little while and I help you out and then boom, I'm gone. And then I come over here and I help out over here and then boom, I'm here. And then I got to call and then I got to email and then I got to move and boom, boom. I'm in, Africa this week and Asia next week. Like I'm just bam, bam. So I am going to be scaling back and reeling back a few of my responsibilities. And part of that is the podcast. So this is the bummer part of it, guys. We might do a weekly episode every once in a while where you'll get an extra episode. But from this point on, we are going to be moving to bi-weekly. I have to acknowledge that when we shoot the podcast, it may only take, an hour of your time, but it takes up a solid 2.5 hours of our time here in the shop. And that's 2.5 hours where my employees maybe don't feel as supported as they could be because I'm off talking to the internet. So as important as it is, I think, to share what we're doing, I think it's just as important to live it. And in order to do that, I have to cut our schedule down a little bit. So Evan's getting his pay cut in half since he's only working half as much.
Yep.
But I do think that this is what's best for Cole. And I also think it's what's best for my employees. And also, just to be honest with you guys, we've hit a point now where it's because Nathan's gone and we have Greg taking on a few other responsibilities. Logan is not necessarily afraid to be on the camera, but it's just not something he prefers. And then Charlie is already shooting videos and doing content, and I don't want to suck him more into it. So if you are around Cole, you would understand that it is an obvious choice for me to lead the podcast, but we have to do that. It's not our top priority. The podcast just can't be our top priority. So that was long-winded and probably too much, but that's why we're moving to bi-weekly. And then also, it's honestly just been kind of a little bit harder to get people on. Not that we've cycled through everybody or anything like that, but people aren't traveling as much. And a lot of times the guests that you would see would be either up teaching a class or traveling through to teach a class. You know, we're still good friends with Kurt and with Will and Seth. And when they're in town, we will make sure to get them on the podcast and get an interview with them. We did Seth via satellite, right? Or internet. We did whatever that, I don't know how it works. But it's been a little bit harder to get some of those travelers on. So if you're in the Anderson, Indiana area, let us know. It's not going to be one of those things where you hit us up and we're like, oh, you're going to be here in June. We're booked out until August. Like, that's not the case. If you're going to be around, we can still set up and get a quick interview in, because we still want to be involved in the community and we want to get you in front of the rest of the community. That's still important and that aligns with our values. But if it's just me up here yammering about how the podcast started and giving away stuff, I think there's better stuff I could be doing with my time. So I love y'all, but Daddy's going bye-bye. So what can you expect moving forward is I'm going to try to make it a little bit more regimented so that it's going to be between 45 minutes and an hour. I'm going to have specific topics I'm covering. This is going to get more familiar to you guys with me trying to catch myself and staying on script. Evan is crying tears of joy with that. I'm still going to do my little rants. Okay.
My favorite part.
I have been told by 2 people now. And now listen.
Whoa.
Yeah. I would say genuinely, I've probably been approached by 50 to 75 people about the podcast at events and stuff. 2 people specifically have mentioned how much they love my rants. So 4% ain't bad, baby. But I'm gonna have topics. We're gonna stay on regiment. We're probably gonna talk about lean stuff. We're gonna talk about the history of blacksmithing. That's our first reoccurring segment. We can do the round of applause for that. We put this on Facebook, and we usually get like 12 likes and 1 comment on a podcast post on Facebook. It is not our popular segment on Facebook, unless we're talking about blacksmiths in Australia. That one gets a lot too. But how many comments do we get?
I'm looking right now.
Yeah, last time I looked, I think we were in the 30s. We had blacksmiths from across the globe saying, I'm a blacksmith from Australia, I'll help you out. I'm a blacksmith from Africa, I'll help you out. One guy just commented, I'm an actual blacksmith. And I didn't know how to take that. Like I don't know if he just saw it and isn't aware of the brand, which is totally fine. And it's totally understandable. Like, I don't think everybody ever has heard of Cole Iron Works, but if it just like randomly came across his feed and he thought some dumb podcast was like, hey, should we talk about blacksmithing? And he was like, I am a blacksmith.
41.
41. So that's a ton. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but that's a ton for our podcast clips. And it was overwhelming feedback that we should talk about the history of blacksmithing. So send us an email, comment on a video, send us a DM, whatever. Let us know what cultures and what histories you want to look at for blacksmithing. I'm going to introduce the segment right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give about 1 page in total, just as far as many different places across the world that I was able to get. So here's the problem with blacksmithing lore. All right. So when you look up blacksmithing lore or blacksmithing, it's like all the same 3 stories. And it's like, okay, so then you have to type in like, okay, Japanese blacksmithing lore or myths. And it pops up with what we talked about a couple episodes ago with literally like superstitions and stuff like that. So you have to be very precise with like, where did blacksmithing start in Asia? And then it's very historical. Great. That's great. That's not what I wanted to do for this one. So I said, okay, in mythological tale, how did blacksmithing start in Asia? And then it would pop up. So I had to learn that first. And then I was able to get some of these. The other thing is there's so many tales and there's so much lore that if I were to give you the 50,000 foot view, it would be a god was created, came down to earth and was a blacksmith. And before he went back into either the heavens or the other realm or whatever that group believed, they taught man. That would be 95% of them. That is such a they call that the red string, like the thing that connects.
I have no idea.
When you have a topic and then you look at the topic against different other beliefs and stuff, they call it the red string, the like commonality between them. I think it's called the red string, whatever. Okay, so blacksmithing through history. The Egyptian god Ptah, Ptah. Okay, so Ptah created the world through speech, including all other gods. Therefore, he is seen as the god of creating, including blacksmithing. So in their history, the god that created the world is attributed to blacksmith. And this is because Egyptians, from what I understand, once again, we will cover Egypt and I will have a much better understanding then, but they held blacksmith and metalworkers into a very high regard. So they were related to the creator god, who created all the other gods. Next, we have Arabian, which more specifically would be southern Yemen, have a god named Canaan. Oh, wait, I remember I looked this up. I was like, how do I say this? It's just Cain. It's Cain. They just spelled it, not the English version, so I'm an idiot. Cain. His name's root word means to flatten metal with a mallet and is believed to be the god of most smiths in the area of Sheba or Saba. So this is going to be a similar historic myth as Cain from the Bible, which we'll talk about in a second, but it's a different Cain, not Cain and Abel. Hindu. This one is where they start getting fun. Evan, are you listening? It's that daggum cell phone in your hand. All right, so the Hindus believe that the Ribus, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's Ribhus. The Ribus are the 3 sons of Angrius, or are the 3 sons of Angrius. Okay, so those are the 3 sons of Angrius, who is the son of Sudhanvan. And so they were born human and they were reborn into gods by practicing tapas, which what I was able to look into, tapas either means warmth or meditation. So I don't think they just practice warmth, but probably meditation. I just thought it was really cool that the blacksmithing god practiced meditation, which is also the word for warmth, to achieve, whether it be their version of enlightenment or reincarnation or whatever. and was reborn as a god. In both of the subsects of their I guess they have a split somewhere in there, but in both major legends, they're famous for their creative abilities, innovation, and their design for chariots. A magic cow of plenty is a common tale from them. They created channels for rivers and the tools for Indra and other gods, and their tools made the gods who didn't have them envious of the gods who did. I thought this one was super cool because this one is the only one that I can, ow, my finger right in the bad, gnarly spot. Oh, that was right on the tip. Good Lord, I thought this one was really cool because this is the only one that I can tell where the humans were elevated to a godhood, or I think they're still called gods, but they were elevated because of their ability to create. And in that lore, I'm really excited to get in this one because what I'm assuming is that in that lore, the gift that human beings have to offer the gods is creativity and creation and being able to create. Once again, not sure. Maybe there is a creator god in Hinduism. I'm not as familiar as other people might be, but I think it's really cool that three sons who were renowned for creation while they were on Earth were allowed into the upper realm, dimension, heaven. Well, I'm just going to keep calling them heavens because that's, I think, what most people are familiar with them in American language. But they were able to be such good creators that they were elevated and given status. And then once they got there, not only were they good enough to stay there, but they were renowned above other gods because the tools that they were making, they were giving to other gods, and that made the gods that didn't have them jealous. That is a stinking cool story. Might be one of the first ones we cover. All right, next we have Japan. Kagu Tetsuki, I believe is how you say that. His birth burned his mother, Izanami, causing her death. So essentially, he was born. This is once again going back. This is not a tale of humankind. This is one of their spiritual tales. He was born. He burned his mother to death because he was some sort of fire god or fire spirit. His father, who is Izanagai, instead of Izanamani, it's Izanagai, was grieved by this. So because he was grieved, he beheaded Kagutsaki with his sword. And of course they named the sword Ami no Ahambrai. Ami no Ahambrai is the name of the sword. And cut his body into 8 pieces, which became 8 different volcanoes. Kagusaki's corpse created numerous deities, and his name means to shine with power. Quit laughing. It's making it worse. I can kind of pronounce it until you start laughing, and then I can't pronounce anything. It's going to get worse with this next one, like way worse. So I thought this was super cool because he's attributed as they called him the patron, the patron of blacksmiths. I don't think they necessarily revere him as a god, but he was the patron of blacksmiths because he burnt his mother. Obviously, he's some sort of fire or heat source. And then when he was divided up into different volcanoes, it started where those volcanoes came up, a bunch of deities were born out of that. So that one also has a cool backstory that I'm very interested in looking into. But I also thought it was cool that his name means to shine with power. Next one up is Mesopotamia. So Mesopotamia, obviously, I know how to pronounce that. Good job, Francis. Nobody ever acknowledges when I get it good, when I knock it out of the park. So their god was named Kothar Wakasis. I actually kind of nailed that. Kothar Wakasis. In there, it's got the original spelling, and it is 3 arrows pointing to the right, and then like a bow and arrow thing looking. So I can't pronounce that obviously, but more so now it's the original language is Ugaritic, and more so now I guess he would be known as Kataro wa Hasiu. Not even trying that again because I think it did pretty good. We're just going to call him Kothar. He is regarded as a divine artisan. So he could variously play the roles of an architect, a smith, a musician, or a magician. Some scholars believe that he is named after two other gods, Kothar and Khasis. So what struck me about this story was this is right where you get written history, right? So this is where there is written history, but there is still a ton of mysticism going on. And I didn't read it anywhere. Don't come and tell me, oh, scholars actually say that they can prove that he existed, because maybe he did. But from what I can tell, he was known as a trickster and he was known as a magician specifically because he was a smith, and because he was a smith, he was seen as an architect. So I read this one pretty briefly. I spent about 5 to 10 minutes reading about this guy, but this tradition is very similar to the role of Ptah from the Egyptian lore that we just spoke about. All of these gods have kind of a little bit different trajectory than many other tales. So these are some of the ones that just on a surface level that I was able to do in about an hour of research, they had kind of some of the stories that stuck out to me. And I thought that those were pretty cool. Now, what we have in Protestant biblical tradition starts in the book of Genesis, and the biblical history of blacksmithing spans from the Antediluvian era to the Iron Age, which is about 4,000 to 1200 BCE.
Antediluvian.
Yes. Okay. Antediluvian era from about 4,000 to 1200 BC. Also, you want to know, okay, Rand, I read a ton and I can't say things out loud, and people will be like, oh, Francis, either you're lying or you're an idiot because you can't say things out loud. How many of you guys read out loud when you're at home reading? Do you have to put your finger under it too? Do you have to sound out every word until it sounds right? No, I read in my brain, and in my brain, I recognize the word. And yes, there is some sort of sound that is kind of connected to it, but I don't get hung up on being able to, like, I have to be able to say this word out loud to be able to read this book.
That's exactly why I'm so slow at reading.
Oh, because you have to do that?
Yes.
Well, now I feel like a jerk.
It's a problem.
Okay.
It's not normal as far as I'm aware.
Well, Antediluvian.
There you go.
Antediluvian. Whatever. So this is about 4,000 to 1200 BCE, before Common Era for all of you guys, or just BC for before Christ. The craft of, this began with Tubal-Cain, the first recorded forger of bronze and iron. The craft evolved from an exclusive monopolized technology to an essential community trade, and is frequently used in scripture as a metaphor for divine purification from Genesis 4 onward. No creation of the blacksmith or event spawning it. So, the myth there is that this guy started blacksmithing. It doesn't necessarily have a creation. It doesn't have somebody saying, this is how it started, this is why it started, this is what we did. It's just acknowledged this guy's the first blacksmith. So moving on from that, there's also, all throughout the Old Testament, they talk about blacksmiths. A lot of times it is in metaphor, but there's also common examples of there were no blacksmiths allowed in Israel because the Philistines, and this is all actual like history where you can read the Bible as a spiritual book, or you can read it as historical documents. This is one of the historical documents parts, is the Philistines were so powerful and so good at creating weapons, and they were such skilled smiths that they wouldn't allow other tribes to create weapons, which is also why they were seen as such good smiths, because they had no competition. So there will be a deeper dive into that. potentially probably this same episode as we do this next one. But there's there's a little bit of talking about it in the tradition of Judaism and Christianity, but there isn't a like lore in mainstream Protestant Christianity, Catholicism. However, there are Christian sects that believe in a series of books called the Apocrypha. The Apocrypha include Enoch 1 through 3. Enoch 1 is the most popular and is actually pretty commonly accepted as would have been accepted as a spiritual book for its time. Whether you believe it's true or not, whatever. I'm not fighting with you. I'm just telling you it was accepted as its time as a spiritual book. And many other Christian sects to this day believe it. I believe it's Ethiopian, Kawanda.
Yes.
And I think there's also like an Orthodox sect that believes that it's true. So in the Enoch 1, or just Enoch, depending on what reservation you fall from there, blacksmithing is described as stemming from the Watchers and Azazel. So wider Christian, I've dubbed this wider Christian sculpture. In the book of Enoch, fallen angels, known as the Watchers, descend to earth and interact with humanity. The leader, Azazel, is explicitly credited with teaching mankind the arts of blacksmithing, how to make iron, weapons, and how to beautify the eyes.
Knives and eyeliner, baby.
Knives and eyeliner.
That's what I'm all about.
14-year-old Francis would be like, heck yeah. I'm just kidding. I never had a highlighter phase. Eyeliner. I never had an eyeliner phase. I didn't have a highlighter phase either. Did you? Was highlighter ever like really popular in your school?
What do you mean by that?
When I was in probably 4th grade, colored and sparkly gel pens got really popular.
Oh, yes.
And then scented gel pens got really popular, but then kids would eat it.
Yep.
And so those got taken away fast.
Yep.
And then the direct replacement for that was like various forms of highlighter. And highlighter was really popular. I would say probably like middle school up until like freshman year.
Yeah, I don't think that stops. I think that's a phase that every generation goes through.
And it's just the true believers stick with it.
Yeah.
You find out you're a highlighter guy in 5th grade.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Also, there was like duct tape. Duct tape was super cool for like 3 years.
I was super into that.
Yeah. All my friends had duct tape wallets and purses and
terrible.
I never had that phase. I never had a bacon phase where everybody was obsessed with bacon. I never had the mustache phase where everybody thought mustaches were funny. That's like a whole, you might be too young for that. That's like a whole thing where like people would just put a piece of bacon on a, whatever merch they're trying to sell and it would sell out instantly. You could put a mustache on something and people would be like, oh, mustache, isn't that funny? How many millennials have mustaches tattooed on the inside of their finger? That's
oof. Probably a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of, I know probably off the top of my head, I know 5 people because I know they all got it together.
Ooh.
And lightsabers.
Yep. I thought that was a really great idea in high school.
Yeah, until you see one that's like 2 years old. Mm-hmm. Bad. There's one reason and one reason alone that I don't have hand tattoos. It's because they go bad fast. I mean, I've got these little guys.
Those are like, you did those, didn't you?
Nathan did.
Yeah.
Yep. So, so the Watchers come down. They, this is what I like. Once again, I said this before. I have not read this in the Book of Enoch. I've read a few other things from the Apocrypha. I've gotten into, all kinds of different, books, whether it be apocalyptic or apocrypha or mysticism or you go with the whatever phrase you want, but I haven't read this specifically. But from my point, just what the little, and I literally read that paragraph, copy paste, put it on here. But from what I can tell is that these fallen angels or the Watchers came down and were like, you know how I'm going to screw up humanity? Boom, I'm going to teach them how to make fire. And then I'm going to teach them how to mold steel and then eyeliner. So I don't know if that has anything to do with them trying to distort the eyes from having a interspecies child. I don't know if the lore goes to them being detectable as being bred from the Watchmen because their eyes were distorted. That would make sense to me. But once again, I haven't looked into it. But that has nothing to do with blacksmithing. I think it's cool that all of the other myths that were kind of projecting forward were that this is a good thing, right? Even in Hinduism, they were elevated. They were blacksmiths that became gods because they were so good at it. And this is the first one that I saw that was like, yeah, the bad guys made blacksmithing, which also goes back to the, when we looked up were blacksmiths seen as bad, essentially? And the answer was like, kinda, yeah. Well, is that because for a long time in Europe and where the Rome had conquered, they had been being taught the Book of Enoch, where blacksmiths were taught to be blacksmiths by a literal demon? It's going to be an interesting read, guys. Don't miss that episode because I'm going to be wrong a lot. It's going to be a lot of information I have to take in, and I am not going to be as proficient at it as I should. We should get Wesley Huff on.
Do you think we could?
I mean, he likes swords.
He does like swords.
And America.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense for him to come to Indiana.
It does.
All the way from Canada.
Is he in Toronto?
I think so.
It's really not far from Toronto.
It's not bad.
It's like 6 hours.
No.
Driving?
6 hours.
Yeah.
Do you not have to go around Lake Michigan?
No, that's Chicago, brother.
Ah, shoot.
Toronto is like, you can enter Toronto from the northeast side of Detroit.
I don't know why I pretend like I don't have an infinite knowledge device in my hands.
When I come home from Bob's, I drive a road that if I get in the right lane, I can go into Toronto. I think it's called the Toronto Bridge, but yeah. Anywho, last segment, guys.
8 hours.
Into Toronto, like proper.
Yep.
That makes sense. All right, last segment, guys. We're going to give away some awards. These ones are just for fun. I'm not sending you a statue or anything. So I didn't tell Evan, or did I tell you? Nope, I didn't tell you what these people are. So we might not have stuff pulled up for them. And I honestly forgot to pick the first award. The very first award is for the best demo smith. This is in recognition of a blacksmith that is always creative and is always doing interesting demonstrations. And I was going to go through and I was going to look through and see if I make sure I wasn't missing anyone. I've got 2 people on the top of my head, but I don't want to do 2 people because the next one is 2 people. Dang, I should have made this decision. You got me on the fly now. I'm going Terry Sheridan. I have been watching Terry Sheridan demo for a long time, and it's always fascinating. If you get caught up with, oh, okay, I've seen him do everything, you can just sit back and watch how fast he does it and still be amazed while teaching. Like how fast he's able to do it while teaching. I love watching Terry. The other person I was going to put up there was Jennifer Petrillia. Very informative, slows it up, speeds it up. She does a lot of things kind of as she's answering questions from a previous maybe bend or whatever. Like she gets it to where it needs to be while still blacksmithing. She doesn't have to stop what she's doing. But Terry Sheridan, I think by far, I've only seen Jennifer's twice, 3 times if you count individual days. Actually 4 times if you count individual days, but on 2 separate occasions, Abana and IBA. But Terry's is just, golly, the breadth of knowledge that he has. There's Terry Sheridan. He is absolutely awesome. Also bought a DPC from us, and his wife was the one that organized it, and she is just an absolute. I think that's the most fun I've ever had with a customer. I think that's absolutely the most fun I've ever had with a customer. So that's the best demo smith with an acknowledgement to Jennifer Petrillia. Most encouragement in a forge smith. This is going to the person who is the most encouraging to be around in a forge. And God knows you guys know who I'm going to say. That's going to our good friends Nate Hallett and old Jeffy boy, old Jeff Dotterman. These 2 guys are 2 guys that I can rely on. I've shared it on my personal Instagram before, but Nate will text me stuff that he's making in his forge. he'll text me stuff that he's working on with students. And instead of saying, look what we made, he turns it around and he says, look what you've done. There was one that he texted me and he said, if you ever think what you're doing is worth it, look at how proud this guy is of his hammer. And it was a younger, maybe 15, 16-year-old high school student had made his first hammer. And he said, if you ever worry about what you're doing is worth it, look at the joy you're bringing. So much encouragement there. Oh, of course. That's the most perfect clip you could have pulled up.
Oh, Jeff.
And we introduced the two. I'm so glad we did, because Jeff's the same way. Jeff will just call me to check in. Hey, I haven't heard from you in a couple weeks. And he'll take the time to make sure that we're doing okay. He stops by. He gave us a robot that we don't know how to use. It's still sitting on a shelf and I feel bad, but he told me where he was going to throw it away anyway. But I want to take the time to recognize those two guys for not everything that they do for us, but for everything that they do for their community and the people around them. Being that much of an encouragement to people is something that definitely needs to be recognized. And it comes with a lot of selflessness and a lot of the attributes and the personalities that we talk about a lot on this show. And they embody it way better than I could. I strive to be able to represent myself the way they do. And they are two people that I really look up to. So the Blacksmithing Award number 3, this is going to go to the blacksmith that we all love, and we are so glad to be on their good side because they're so large. This one goes to Lucas O'Hara. Lucas, I love you, but I am also terrified of you, and I am so glad that you love me back. And I know that everybody here holds that sentiment, because if you did not like us, you could make bad things happen. Not that you would. I genuinely don't think you would.
Oh man.
But just every day I wake up and I thank God that I am on your good side. It's a blessing. Number 4 is actually another real one. The blacksmith that embodies find the work, do the work. So we talk about Kurt a lot. We talk about find the work, do the work. Logan has added this extra mantra to it that I really like, that is going to be another. We have found the work and we are doing the work. We are jam-packed. We are struggling to match the output that is required to get the work coming in, because right now we are just so filled up. We've done that. So we have challenged ourselves. The next step is find the work worth doing and doing it and do it well. So find the work that is making an impact and being used and is being utilized, and do it to your utmost ability. And when I think about that, I think about find the work, do the work, find the work worth doing and do it well. I think about Matthew Harris. Matthew Harris is somebody I think about when I think about sculpture, when I think about ornamental installations, when I think about tooling, when I think about just all around being involved in the work. And he's got guys that work for him. He's got shop employees, obviously, welders and blacksmiths and all kinds of stuff. And yet he is still on the floor doing it with them. I think he's one guy that we shouted out for his YouTube channel a few weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago, and he only had 4,000 followers or something like that. It blows my mind that he is not the absolute top of social media for blacksmiths. His work is so incredible, and he is such a genuine, nice human being, and that comes off on camera. Like usually you get one of the 3, not all 3. So I bestow upon him the award of the blacksmith that embodies the find the work, do the work. And then we have a project award. The project award for this year, or for this 100 episodes, is the project that took over the internet and hurt a lot of feelings. The project took the internet by storm, and everybody started bickering, whether it be TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I saw so many arguments in the comment section, and that would be Derek Melton and his steak turners. Derek Melton made steak turners and posted a video of him using steak turners. And apparently, that's not how you cook a steak. That is not how you make a steak. That is releasing all the juices from the steak. That only works if you're right-handed. I've seen so many people, people saying, oh yeah, then you're making your steak toxic by sticking metal into it. Well, the amount of just absolute disinformation, first of all, that people are free will trying to share as though they're experts. And then Derek's responses were always funny. And then I messaged him at one point talking to him about, and he talks about this, so I don't think I'm stepping on his toes by sharing this, but the amount of times that I've seen him share things that I know he knows better, and I'll send him a DM or say something snarky that hopefully he also knows I'm being snarky. And he'll kind of lean into it because he gets a ton of interaction from the people that are like, that's not how you cook a steak. That's not how you do this. That's not how you do that. And that just excels whatever he's made. And guess what? Whatever he's made in that video, typically he's trying to sell. So it leads people to his website. I love Derek and I love this tactic. He totally stumbled on it because he made a steak turner, which, has always been kind of an easy blacksmith fun trick. Something easy to have at your table. And it blew up. People were so mad. Burger with a side of tetanus, please. Brother, that's not how tetanus works. Scroll down, see if you can find more dumb comments.
Oh yeah.
I like soft hands, so where can I get this tool? What? How is that any softer than using a spatula? Are you just pulling that off the grill? Gas grill told me everything I need to know. Low rust won't hurt. I can't say that one out loud. This is awesome. I have one. What's this called? I hate touching raw meat and having to run back to wash my hands. Why are you just touching the raw? Have you never been shown a pair of clickers or a pair of a spatula? A meat wand?
Meat wand. Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, there's a ton.
That video had 5 million views, and this one has 26 million.
Yeah.
Almost 27.
Yeah, so Derek gets the award for the blacksmith or the project that took over the internet and hurt a lot of feelings. So, yeah. That's where we're at. That's what we're doing, guys. Thanks for sticking around for so long. This has been a long episode. I've had to hydrate a lot. Oh, well. Oh no.
Oh, you went and did it.
Oh, so I have to do another giveaway.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's how the Waterloo works.
Dang. Okay.
Hope you got something you can afford.
Oh.
Those are the best.
The cherry limeade is nice.
It's so good.
It's nice. So
there's a reason they're always out.
Here's the thing about Waterloo. I know I had to find that one in the back. Here's the thing about Waterloo. This guava berry is fantastic. It's so good. It's like Baja Blast as a seltzer. So if you were to get Baja Blast and then leave it in your car and let the ice melt and drink it the next morning, that's kind of what it tastes like. It has the Baja Blast flavor.
Essence of Baja.
The blackberry lemonade doesn't have flavor. Can't really taste a lot, but it's near and dear to my heart because this is what my dad switched to after he had kidney stones and a bunch of surgeries. So I had to keep this at my house so that my dad had something to drink for probably like 3 years. 2 years, probably. The cherry limeade is by far the best.
So good.
So good. They also do a red, white, and berry, which once again, we love America. The red, white, and berry is also super good. We're not sponsored, but we could be. Waterloo. We could be. We're down to flirt. All right, let's get into the last giveaway. We have ran past 4:00. I need to get Evan home. He's got chickens to feed.
Yeah.
So, giveaway number 3. I'm going to have you guys tag us in a post, whether it be your forge, whether it be your blacksmithing guild, I don't care what the picture is. The picture does not matter to me. I do not care whatsoever about the picture of this. Okay. Tag us in the post. Do not tag us in the comment. Tag us in the post. Okay. Got that out of the way. I want you to tell us what you would do with a forge makeover. With a forge makeover, would you go into full-time business? With a forge makeover, would you start holding classes for veterans? With a forge makeover, would you, I don't know, make a unicorn sculpture? With a forge makeover, would you start forging? That's some of us, right? I can't forge in my own forge right now because I haven't taken the time to set it up. So with a forge makeover, I could actually forge out of my home forge. Right now, I use the school. So I want you to tell me what you would do with a forge makeover. And as much as I would love to sponsor that forge makeover, that's just not where we're at as a company or as a business. I don't have the ability to do that. And maybe someday, right? Maybe in 5 years, as we're on episode 1000 and we're playing these clips, we can sound the horn and we can finally do it, guys. But right now we can't do that. But what we can do is we're going to give you $1,000 credit to Cole Iron Works. So whoever wins this competition, credit, gift card, whatever, whatever you want to call it, because we don't have real physical gift cards, so I consider it a credit. What we're going to do is we're going to give you $1,000 credit to be used on anything inside of Cole Iron Works. There is one exception, okay? Or not one exception, but there's one rule, okay? Just for the sake of convenience for not only yourself, but for us, it's got to be used all at once. So if you need 2 sets of dies, grab 2 sets of dies. If you whatever. If you're buying a press, take $1,000 off a press. If you only use us to buy material for your hammers and for your tooling, get $1,000 worth of material. I'm totally fine with that. But it has to be used all at once. That is the one caveat to this. That's the one rule, okay? You can't call back and say, I'd like to use $30 of my credit today and $30 of my credit tomorrow and, move on that way. That's the other reason I wouldn't consider it a gift card is because it's got to be used all at once.
You know what costs about $1,000 here? A full day of one-on-one classes with Charlie Ellis.
Oh, that's true.
That'd be interesting.
I genuinely didn't even think of that.
That'd be interesting.
That's interesting.
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 Hey, if I've already won a contest through a giveaway here, can I win this?
That's a good question. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you've won a contest, I don't care. Usually I tell people like, hey, if you've won, let some other people win every once in a while. But yeah. Yeah, I think that's totally okay. I think the way we're spacing out the different things you can win and whatnot, I think we're good. So if you've won a contest before, feel free to throw your name in the hat. Also, Evan, do you think it's okay if they apply for all 3 contests?
You know what? That's a great idea, and they probably should.
Yeah, I think they should too. I think they should apply for all 3 of the contests.
Yep.
They're not even contests; they're just giveaways.
Yeah.
So,
no purchase required.
No purchase required
by law.
But the last giveaway, I want to give away $1,000 to be able to help you start building or maybe finish building your dream forge. If your last piece that you're missing is an induction forge, boom, $1,000 off. If the last thing that you're missing is steel to be able to make it work or to do the work, cool. We'll make $1,000 steel order. In that case, I would honestly probably just order something from a local steel mill close to you and drop ship it. I probably wouldn't ship it through the mail, but like I want to help our community and I want to continue being a good steward of what's been given to me. And the selflessness that I've seen and the people that we've talked about, I want to be inspired by what they not only inspired by what they're doing, but I want to take action on that inspiration. And so, this competition can go to somebody who is starting a forge. This can go to somebody who is Matthew Harris that has a bunch of employees. This could go to somebody who's retiring and is going to have a little bit more time in their forge. It doesn't matter. There are no stipulations on that. The one requirement, or the two requirements, I guess, is A, the item has to come from Cole Ironworks. Sorry, guys. Bummer. Oh, wish you guys didn't make such cheap stuff. 2, it has to be spent all at one time. So that is the third giveaway. Because I want to know what you would do with a Forge makeover. Evan, do we have any other segments that we were planning on doing that I omitted from my script?
Not today.
Okay. Guys, genuinely from the bottom of my heart, today's been a wonderful episode. We laughed, we cried.
We did.
We got to see old friends, talk to new friends. Guys, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for everything you've allowed us to do. Thank you for being an inspiration to us and allowing us to inspire you. Thank you for the conversation and the communication that we've had over 10 years, over 100 episodes, over 500 events, or however many we've been to. Any small impact that you've made has changed the trajectory and put us on course of where we're going. And I believe that we are on a very, very good trajectory for the community and for the people that work for us. I almost said inspired. I am so happy to wake up every day. I get to come to work. I get to work with Nigel. I get to work with Hayden. It is a blessing. And it's just, as somebody, most people in this building have worked another job. And so they understand how different it is to work here compared to working anywhere else. And it is tangible. It's tangible being here. And that is in no short part because of what you guys have done. And I do not take it for granted. And I'm not saying that to brag. I am saying that to tell you guys thank you and to tell you that what you've given to us, we will continue to hopefully be able to put back and pour back out. So big emotions this episode. We learned a lot. We thought a lot. We cried a lot. And we covered where we've been, where we're going, and what to expect coming up. I'm ready to go home. See you guys.